Dominate your niche. In this part of Dominate Your Niche, we are going to do an introduction to the topic and look at your messaging. So, this is a topic I am over the moon excited to share with you because it's designed to help you up your game and become known as the go-to expert in your area. It's my favorite part of what I teach. And it's also a topic that has the potential to become very overwhelming because there's a lot of action to take to become that go-to authority for what you do. So we're going to take it slow. It is broken down into, my goodness, 5 or 6 sessions. And we're going to look at each area and what are your personal priorities within it for your business. I should also point out right now, you do not have to dominate your niche. This isn't for everyone because it's a lot of work. And you might be delighted with the growth you've had in your business to date. Most people will probably be doing really well by this point in the course. You'll have made huge progress over the action that you've taken. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I don't want that, then that's okay. It's not for everyone. But I recommend absorbing and considering which bits might be beneficial to where you're at just now. But there's no pressure to shoot for this top level of authority. And likewise, it's a lot of work, but it all starts to overlap between these topics. So yeah, it builds on each other. And there's going to be some of you hearing this and like, hell yes, bring it on. I want to be known as the go-to person for what I do. And that's awesome. So find the place that works for you. So first of all, we're going to look at our messaging and work on how are we communicating about ourselves and our business. Later in the next topic, we're going to be looking at our business persona. What is our brand? How can we build that brand to become the go-to person in your niche? Later on, we'll be looking at building our collateral to bring prospective clients into our community and build our credibility and authority within our niche. We'll also be looking at how to raise our profiles and become known within our area. And it's not something that happens overnight. We're going to build on this over the coming months and years as our businesses develop, but it's very much worth it. So the aim is to have clients coming to you rather than you going out and looking for them. And it's going to help you to fill your pipeline going forwards. So let's start off looking at our messaging. The first thing we want to be considering is why is it essential to niche? So let's go straight back to basics here. Back in the day, the way to survive in business was to be a generalist. People couldn't travel far. Like this is back in the day where it was travel on foot or by horses. Cars came in, but they definitely weren't like whisking you up to Scotland or anything. So your market was dictated by geography, and people needed to cover the local needs within their sector. So it paid to be a generalist and stock a wide range of things. These days, everything's changed. Everything's online, and that marketplace has changed completely. For most businesses, geography has very little to do with your client base. And actually, many of my clients work with their clients on a variety of continents, which is amazing. So now more than ever, it's really important to define your own niche, your tiny slice of the market where you want to be known, and to build your presence and dominate within that tiny bit of the market. So we all know the saying, I hope, the ideal niche is an inch wide and a mile deep. It's very specific, so you can really stand out and target people in your messaging, but there are still lots of prospects looking for your support in that specific area. And the more you begin to understand your niche and your target markets, you can develop messaging that speaks directly to them. And you can start to build your influence and your brand in this area. And over time, you actually want to become known within the niche and become the go-to person, because this puts you in a market of your own. You're no longer competing on price. Clients are actually coming to you rather than the opposite. And you're attracting partnership and profile opportunities. So people are approaching you to collaborate, and you have your pick of opportunities. So for some of you, you need to niche further than you currently have. It's hard to dominate a wide niche because there's too much competition. And honestly, you won't be able to hone your messaging to speak to your ideal client. So it won't be speaking to anyone properly. So branding yourselves and your business. Do you know what? I'm going to do these two topics together. They just fit so nicely. So your messaging, this is an essential part of building your personal brand. And I recommend that you spend quality time considering how do you best communicate who you are and what you stand for, and the value that you bring to the benefit of your customer. So this last bit is absolutely essential. And for some of you who literally you're going to super struggle with this, go back and do the work from the Marketing Essentials on target market and niche. If you've not done that, you can't do any of this. So start there and come back. So communicating who you are, what you stand for, the value that you bring to the benefit of your customer. Your customers may be interested in what you do, but really they are most interested in what it means for them. So we want to consider the impact that your work has on your clients and customers, the benefits to them, the emotional triggers, the things that excite them, the things that scare them, the things that are keeping them up at night, their deepest hopes and dreams, their aspirations, and their deepest fears. So hopefully by this point in the course, you know your clients a lot better than you used to. And I'd love you to spend some time considering this and really hone your messaging so that you can easily share what you do with passion and excitement. And be prepared to share what you do and really highlight the benefit to the client. The so what, if you look back into the features and benefits work. You want to be able to share it with passion and authority that helps others to engage with your mission and actually seek to help you achieve it. So when I was personally going through my own branding process, a really core thing that helped me was considering my own mission, vision, and values. And we've touched on this before, guys, and it's so important. So your vision is this huge picture, the dream that's beyond yourself, that's something you're contributing to. So for one of my clients who is the menopause man, it's a world where menopause is understood, where men are in a position to support women during this challenging time, even in the most male-dominated companies. For one of my clients who runs a business network, it's a world where small business owners are coming together in this like thriving, vibrant community, which supports them to grow their business or something like that. They've each got their own mission and vision. And your mission is what you're doing to make these things happen. So when you can articulate your message in a way that helps your customers, your potential customers, your employees, your stakeholders, your suppliers, and just your general network, when it helps them to catch the vision, amazing things happen. And when you can share a snapshot of your ideas in a clear, eloquent way that captures attention and inspires people to open their own contacts and introduce you, it can be amazing. So you want to work on your mission, vision, values, and message and have them eloquent and succinct, but be able to significantly expand on any bit when needed. Excuse me a second. So it's the same with your ability to share the message and bring people on board with your ideas. So you want to be spending time to get your messaging right and have a variety of options of how you communicate it, and then practice, practice, practice. Really hone your skill at delivering this messaging until you are ready, eloquent, and confident, whatever the circumstances and whatever the opportunity. Whether it's realizing that you've met a potential client at the school gates, whether it's sharing your 60 seconds at a networking event, maybe you find yourself trapped in a lift with an influencer. So my most random introduction that sparked opportunity was on the back of a communal taxi truck on a tiny Thai island. You just never know. So be armed and ready and confident to share what you do and the value that you bring in a way that intrigues people. And to be clear, please don't pitch to get new clients at the school gates. That's super awkward. But I'm talking about being prepared so that if somebody asks what you do, you've got an eloquent 10-second introduction that showcases your brand, it builds intrigue, it makes them curious, and then you're prepared to expand if appropriate, and you just never know where it might lead. So I highly recommend revisiting your messaging and have various snapshots of messaging ready and practice. I would have maybe a 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a 1 minute, and a 2 minute. Some of you will want to have longer. You might even have pitch decks. And I would have your mission, vision, and values ready. So what I would love you to do now is just pause for 5-10 minutes. Check in with your own messaging. Hopefully, most of you will have a document that's got all of your messaging in it. If not, it's a great place just to put everything in one place so you're not constantly reinventing the wheel. But check in with the messaging and ask yourself, does it intrigue and inspire? Does it talk about what the client wants? Not necessarily what they need, but what they want. Does it draw people in to engage with your brand, to want to learn more, to get to know you, and to actually share you with their network? Possibly even pick up the phone right then and there and make a useful introduction. So pause for 5-10 minutes, consider this. And if you don't already have your 10, 30, and 60-second pitches, please schedule some time to formulate these, work on these, and really polish them. So the book Building a Brand Story by Donald Miller has a really interesting formula to help you build your messaging. And we've touched on this in other topics. He talks about simplifying your messaging to showcase the customer as the hero, not your brand. So your brand is the trusted guide that helps the customer hero on his or her adventure to overcome an internal problem, so that one that's specific to them. And the reason for using messaging like this is it helps to invite the customer inside the story that we're telling. He suggests talking about the problems that they are facing as internal, so they're specific to them. And a hero isn't looking for another hero, according to Donald Miller. They're looking for a guide to help them to overcome. And by positioning yourself as a guide rather than a competing hero, it helps to break down barriers. Because customers trust a guide with a plan. So communicate a simple plan of action that a customer can take with a clear call to action and a clear first step. And this is all to help your clients avoid failure. So it's key that they understand the cost of not working with us, whether it's having an out-of-date website that's not converting customers, or perhaps it's the cost of your business accounts being in a mess and perhaps you're not claiming all the expenses that you could, you're paying too much tax, whatever it is for your clients, share a light touch of what is at stake if they don't work with you. Don't terrify them, don't but gently does it. And finally, in the brand story, this all ends in success. So share a picture of what life looks like having bought your product or service. So this way of talking about your brand isn't for everyone, but I personally find it really useful and I used it as the basis for some of my own rebranding. And it helps to activate emotions and share your values. So take a few minutes to reflect more on your own messaging. Is it highlighting the benefits to your customer? Is it all about you, or is it about them? It should be about them. Is it inspiring people to reach out and share you and your brand? Especially consider your mission and your vision. If you share this with your audience, how are they responding? Perhaps you need to revisit it if the response isn't all that you hoped. And if so, what do you need to highlight? What are the keywords and messages even that you need to include? Pause if you need to. So think now about, how do you find sharing your messaging? Does it inspire you? Does it light you up? Do you feel happy, excited, and confident to share it? Or do you dread it? If you're dreading it, this may be a signal that you've not nailed it yet and it needs some more work. So what I'd love you to consider are, what are the key messages that you want to get across to your potential clients that are about them? Pause and consider. And what are your target market's key pain points? So what do they love? What are their frustrations? What are their secret, deep-seated desires that you can help with? And what keywords trigger them, both in good ways and bad ways? So as I mentioned earlier, I highly recommend having all of this messaging together in one document and take some time to refine it. And keep revisiting it and keep working on it. Get feedback from, ideally, a potential client or somebody you trust. Okay, let's move on to brand yourself. So I'm going to keep these two together. Building relationships is an essential part of dominating your niche, and a really important initial question to be considering is, who do you want to be showing up as in your business? Take a moment to think and consider yourself, and how are you, as the face of your brand, how are you portraying your brand? So this is your business persona. And whilst you want to be authentic and true to yourself, you want to be sure that your business self is coming across as credible and authoritative, as somebody that people are drawn to and they want to learn from. So it's building the know, like, and trust, and ensuring that you show up as the best version of your professional self. All of this is in the workbook, by the way. So at the moment we're on, oh gosh, I think it's probably about page 5, topped with brand yourself and your business. So having confidence in yourself, in your brand, and the value that you offer. There's a lot of different aspects that play into this. So first one is visual. You personally want to be seen as being at the top of your game. Oh, I should mention, a lot of this is going to trigger some people. Lean into it. You don't have to take it all, but question what you should be thinking about. And if it really triggers you, that might be something that you need to do something about sooner rather than later. Sorry, no, sorry. All of this is said with love. Okay. Visual appearance, being seen to be at the top of the game, your game. What does that look like in your industry? Because honestly, appearance matters. It goes to your credibility. I got on a call with an accountant 2 years ago, somebody I was really excited to connect with, and we had potential to do a lot of referring backwards and forwards. But when we spoke, They were slouched in a chair wearing a scruffy t-shirt, not even with a collar on. And that didn't instill any confidence in me as a potential client. I was looking for an accountant at the time or a referral partner. And needless to say, we aren't working together. It has been a big cost to them because I make a lot of referrals to accountants. So I'm not talking about a suit and a tie. That's appropriate for some, but not for most. I'm currently wearing a leopard print dress, but actually, for who I want to be, it totally works. So for some of you, it's, maybe it's black jeans. Actually, I have clients who own law firms that actually love like the leather jean and a bright jumper look. Super casual, because when I've seen them, it's been casual Friday, but still looking professional, edgy, and somebody that's well put together, that looks after themselves and inspires confidence. So yeah, so I love a black jeans and a bright blazer, or I love a bright pattern dress. You will never see me with a lot of flesh out when I am networking or working. So I'm relaxed, I'm covered up, but I'm confident and I'm memorable. So it's either print, a pattern, or it's bright. It's harder if you're a man, I realize. So I want to look relaxed and approachable, but professional. And it's having professional makeup on. So maybe it's a power lipstick, doing your hair. It's nothing crazy, but be sure that you look the part and you're showing up as your best business self. Like if you're wanting people to buy into you, but you rock up just looking like you've just rolled out of bed, which so many people do networking, it's a real bugbear for me. It doesn't instill confidence. Think as well about your posture. How do you hold yourself? Are you shrinking into yourself, all hunched over, or are you holding yourself with confidence, straight back, all that jazz? I should really work on that myself. So it influences people's perceptions. People form very quick opinions of you, and it influences your own performance, as we looked at in power posing. So shoulders back, straighten your back, at least when anyone can see you. For those of you who work online or on a lot of Zoom meetings or Teams or whatever, think about your background. Think about your lighting. It doesn't need to be professional, but me, for example, I sit at a window. Yes, it's got a great view, which I love, but most importantly, I've got great light. I'm lit naturally. And so some of you are going to need a ring light if you don't have that. Think as well of what is behind you. So just going into my camera view. So I've got all of my, not all of them, I've got quite a few, some of my awards up on the wall. I've got a nice leafy plant in the background. I've got more flipping awards over here. I've got some nice flowers, a little photo of one of my kids when she was younger. You can't actually see it because I don't share them. But yeah, a nice candle, awards, load of books. So I really thought, like, what are people going to see? And what does a credible business coach have behind them? Is this the best background in the world? Nope, probably not. Does it detract from who I want to be? No, I think it positions me as an expert in my field. Possibly not the best expert in my field. Possibly there should be some more statement wallpaper. I don't know, but it's a good background. Oh gosh, where is my notes? Okay. You can use fake backgrounds. It's really easy to do. So I've been on networking events where there were some amazing ladies working out of their kitchens, and that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with working out of your kitchens. I am blessed to have a home office. Many people aren't. But people don't need to know that you're working out of your kitchen, especially if you've got a load of crap behind you, like dirty dishes. And I'm not saying my kitchen doesn't currently have dirty dishes in it, but you can't see it. It influences the credibility of their brand. And for me, seeing their crap behind them in the kitchen, it undermined their credibility and the confidence I personally had in their ability to do what they say they do, which I realize is ridiculous, but it would have been so easy for them just to switch on a professional background and hide the chaos behind them. Likewise, I've been on other calls where people have been in a lush office and I've been like, wow, where do you work out of? It looks amazing. And they laughed and they're like, that's not my real office. My real office is a bit shabbier, but this is the dream for the future. And with that, that also really resonated because I love that they were honest and they're like, oh, this is just, this is just a background. But it showed where they were going. It showed how much they valued themselves. So yeah, it helped me get a feel for the caliber of their brand. And we assume that skill set matches this caliber, this how they've branded themselves. Think as well about body language. So this is a big one in building the know, like, and trust. And it's essential to portray yourself with confidence, but be approachable and build rapport. Gosh, I know some of you, I'm terrifying you. Pause and take a break if you need to, but make sure you come back because this stuff's golden, especially for those of you who are networking. So, smile. Gosh, I've just blown some of your minds. But smile, it's so easy to do, but like a genuine smile that goes to your eyes. Make eye contact with people, lean in and engage. When you're networking, listen to people and make them feel valued. Ask questions and really engage with them, get to know them. Think as well, what do you want your energy to be? When you leave the room, what do you want people to remember you for? Hopefully it's not showing up in like a horrible outfit, but I have people I remember for that. Or people who were just miserable and zap the energy. Yes, I remember them. You want to be showing up in your best energy for your professional self. So yes, be authentic, but be your authentic best self or the authentic you that you are striving to be. So when I started my business, I had a 1-year-old who didn't sleep very much. I did my year, ended up back on maternity leave, very blessed to have my second, and then COVID hit. So finally, when I started rebuilding, this was like 2.5, 3 years ago, I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I was honestly a bit of a frazzled mum, but brilliant coach. And I had to be very conscious to be showing up even when I was shattered because I was exhausted. It was a tough time in life trying to build a business alongside 2 tiny kids. But I showed up with energy. I have become known for energy, for enthusiasm, for inspiring people. That is not how I felt, but I knew it was my best business self. I knew it was who I wanted to be. So, yeah. So when you look and when you hold yourself as an authority in your field, it adds to your credibility. And if this is something that scares you, look at the topic on power posing. So you do some power posing or say some affirmations before you get on the call or go to the event because it'll make a big difference. So practice being the confident, friendly authority that's showing up as your best business self. Even if it feels like a stretch, decide who you want to be and step into that persona. And fake it until you make it. Be it until you become it. And actually, I'm not sure if this is the right place to add this story, but I was working, and I don't think she'd mind me sharing, because I've shared before, she knows I've shared before. I was working with this amazing Wix website developer. How do I know she's amazing? Because she did my website, and yeah, it is everything that I wanted it to be and more at the time that I was building it. And she was in my first Success Club. And she was this incredible talent, but she was also, a young mom, a giggly, fun party girl. And I had to call her on that and say to her, look, the way that you're coming across on social media, yes, it's you. Yes, it's authentic to you, but it's authentic to your social self. It's not authentic to your business self because her business self was a real authority and she had real skill in what she did. So I suggested to her that she actually inspired a lot of this topic, I should say. You know who you are, darling. If you're watching this, I love you. Yeah, she is smashing it now. What a champ. But I had to call and be like, who is your best business self? How are you coming across, like on social media? Because she wasn't bringing her authority. And she made some changes and she started showing up as the confident expert for what she did. And her business has skyrocketed. Okay, let me take a wee drink before we talk about branding. Okay, so all of this goes into your visual representation of your brand, your branding. So check in with your logo. Does it fully represent your business in the place that it's growing into? Hopefully, yes. But if it doesn't, you may wish to consider making some changes to the visual identity of your brand going forwards. It's a big job, so don't rush into it. But it's something that I did about, a couple of years into my business. Because as somebody who I love and adore, I'm so grateful to, called me rather brutally on it. And she said, Ruth, you as a person are up here and your brand and all of your collateral is down here. And you've got to sort that shit out. It was horrible to hear for 30 seconds. And then I realized she was completely right. And I invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, not huge amounts of money, but enough that it felt scary at the time, into a rebrand. And it's propelled me forwards. So be thinking as well about your brand colors, your social media templates, your workbooks, all of your brand collateral, anything that you're putting out. Does it align with who you are and what you stand for as your best business self? Because people judge you on your brand and they assume that your abilities within your niche are aligned to your brand. So if your brand is letting you down, time to sort that out, time to put some work in. Psychology of color is really worth considering. So what do your brand colors say about you? So if you look at that very colorful that image in the workbook, the rainbow, this I have taken from a workbook borrowed from an agency called Brandstorm, brilliant branding agency. Are your colors representing your brand as well as they might? What do your colors say about you? Is your brand bringing across the energy and the vibe that you want? And honestly, I have some clients, so one leadership client who is awesome. He's energized, he's great. And his website, quite frankly, and we've had this conversation, he's working on it. It's dull. It was dull. It's improving. It didn't showcase who he was and the energy that he brings. Likewise, one of my phenomenal photography clients, the one who did my own gorgeous photos, thank you so much, sweetheart, you know who you are. She has recently rebranded her website, and it wasn't bad before, but her rebrand has brought energy and vibrance. And yeah, it is impossible to look at her website and not be like, this is the one I want. Like, it just exudes energy and quality and awesomeness. And also, she did it herself. It wasn't expensive. Not everyone should do it themselves, but if you have the skills, great. So use quality templates and be consistent, especially on social media. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can do it yourself freely or cheaply from Canva and alter them to your brand colors. But just be sure that your collateral fits with your brand and the expert authority that you wish to position yourself as. I'd also highly recommend getting professional headshots or even better branding photos done. This has made such a difference in my own business, and it really helps you to stand out within your niche because your clients want to get to know the person behind the brand. Oh, it's a long topic, guys. Poise. Yeah. It's about speaking with authority. So when you're speaking to your clients or out networking, people you meet, think about tone, pace, and how do you bring across your best authentic professional self. God, how many times am I going to say that today? I have met people who have been brilliant at what they do, but they're like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. My brain doesn't process as quick as you're talking, or it does, but not properly. I actually asked them to slow down, and they actually started to come across in a way that I could absorb the value that they were bringing. So think about, how did you best communicate to your audience in a way that helps them to connect, to absorb your value and see you as the authority in your niche. So yes, let your personality shine through. For me, bringing the energy is super, super important. Ironically, I'm an introvert, by the way, so I can bring the energy for about 2 hours and then I'm done. Yeah. And honestly, as well, there's a time and a place for letting your fun side out. So Instagram Reels, TikTok, it can be really helpful to build the relationship, but make sure it's not taking away from your authoritative side of your authentic self. So confidence is going to be something a lot of you struggle with. I'm going to say 90%. So you're not alone. Fake it till you make it. Think about, who do you want to be? Watch this again. A lot of you need to watch this again, make some notes, and really consider, who is your best authentic business self. Then practice showing up as them. Practice in private. Who do you want to be? How do you want to come across? And then put yourself out there, even if it scares you. Okay. I'd love you guys to take a moment. There's not a bit on the workbook for this, but just think and take some notes. What are your thoughts on this topic, your messaging and your branding? Take a moment to consider and note down any changes that you might want to make. Note down anything that massively triggered you, because there's probably something there. The angrier you feel, the more it might be something you need to change. Or some of you won't be triggered, but you'll just be self-aware and you're like, I could be showing up better. And that's okay. We're all growing. We're all learning. This is a journey. Welcome to the journey. What have you already implemented that's working well? And is there any way that you could further improve that? What does your best self look like in your business? What energy are you bringing to conversations? How are you connecting with your clients and your prospective clients? And for some of you, you need this little tool I'm going to share right now. So I was told about this about a year ago by one of my gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous clients, a lady called Chloe Myers, who she runs a business called the B Plan, which is all to do with health and wellness. And she is my fruit and veg capsules dealer. If you know, you know, they're great, totally legal. She shared this technique of clapping to raise your energy. So hands up, I can't see this, but hands up, and my hand is up. Who struggles to show up in an energized, awesome way from time to time? I know, me too. It can be hard. And sometimes you're coming on a call and you're like, oh, I'm dragging myself onto this call. That is not the energy we're going for, people. So clap for 10 seconds. Can I ask each of you to do it with me now? No one can see you. Maybe they can, but go for it anyway. Oh, how did you feel? How has your energy shifted? Makes a big difference. Amazing. So now that we've considered how you're personally showing up for your brand and your messaging, the next topic, we're going to be looking at building your profile and dominating your niche. So flick on to the next video or take a pause, because this is a big topic.